Hello everyone, welcome to Talks Google. I'm Kevin Valk.
I'm Savvy Newton, and I would like to introduce my role model, Bethany Hamilton.
How are you?
Aloha, everyone.
Aloha. Aloha, I should. Dang it. You beat me to it. So welcome, and congrats on being a new mom.
Thank you.
So how has that been?
It's been a whirlwind. My husband, Adam, and I, we have a little guy. His name's Kauais, and he's about 4.5 months old now. And I'd say the first 2 months was like the most challenging time of our lives ever. But now it's going awesome, and love being a mom. It's just the best thing ever.
How have you been able to balance that and work and surfing and everything?
Yeah, I guess we have a really unique life, and we're kind of dabble in a bunch of different areas, from surfing to a lot of travel. And right now I'm on the start of a speaking tour around America, and so it's definitely a big balance bringing our little guy along, but thankfully we can do it together as a family. And yeah, we just make it work and bring Tobias into our lives and our world.
And so you started surfing at a really young age. So can you talk about what got you into surfing and any kind of family influences or friend influences?
Yeah, so I probably was on a surfboard before I could walk. And I know that my passion began very young, and I'm still incredibly passionate about surfing today. But I guess growing up in Hawaii, it's kind of the perfect spot to take on surfing. And everyone in my family surfed. Both my mom and dad moved out to Hawaii in the early 70s, kind of nomad hippies, chasing their dream just to live a simple life in Hawaii and spend as much time in the ocean as they could. So eventually they caught us, my two older brothers and I taught us how to surf, and at a young age they could see that I had a natural passion and talent for surfing, and yeah, I just kind of stuck to it, and that was the start of something that I knew I'd do forever.
It's amazing. And so, what other passions do you have just besides surfing?
Yeah, I have so many different passions, but I'm definitely a healthy living sort of girl. And I love just eating healthy, and so we'll cook a lot of our own food, and it's awesome in Hawaii. There's a lot of local produce available, and a lot of organic produce like at reach that is just amazing. And so what else? I love just staying active. I have a lot of different hobbies, which it's hard to get to them, but I love just like playing tennis and hanging at the beach with family and friends, and I like reading, and
just like everyone else, look at that. You surf awesomely too.
Yeah, I surf a lot. Like when we get home from this trip in November, it's the start of Hawaii's winter season, which is the best time for surfing, so I'll be in the water a lot. And I also enjoy public speaking. It's a huge passion of mine now, and I have such an awesome audience of young people, and I love being able to influence them in good directions and just to think about their decisions. So that's another area of passion of mine.
You have your book from last year, Body and Soul, so can you talk about what inspired that and just the development process of that?
Yeah, so I had the pleasure of writing another book called Body and Soul, and my hope with Body and Soul is to encourage especially young girls, because I don't know, that's where I end up talking and hanging out with young girls a lot. So I wanted to encourage girls in their health and their overall journey just through those teenage years, which can be really tough. So with the book, I was kind of encouraging girls to think about what they eat, how they move their body in healthy ways, and talking from not just working out, but to posture and just finding things that they like to do to stay active. And then from there, also encouraging them in their faith in God and just their mental approach on a day-to-day basis to just live thankfully. And I found so much, I meet a lot of girls in just everything that I do, and a lot of girls struggle with their body image. So I really wanted to encourage them just to focus on being healthy rather than getting caught up in eating disorders or just different struggles of the way they view themselves and where they place their identity in is not so much their physical outer look, but just everything that they are and the different things that they're passionate about and that they're talented at. And yeah, so it's been a lot of fun to just have a book in that area, which there's not a lot of information for girls in teenage years that is very like accessible and user-friendly.
Yeah, I love when you said posture. Everyone in this room just went, all right. You know, even me, I'm like, all right, suck in the gut, push up the back.
Posture is so important. It affects your overall health, and people don't realize that. It's like, you think of it as more of like, oh, my mom told me to sit up, so I'm gonna sit up. But then like 15 minutes later, you're like hanging over the side of your chair.
So you know, after incident, what was the toughest thing to realize, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this? So what was the toughest thing to get right and find that better balance to get back on the board?
Yeah, after losing my arm, I was 13 years old when I lost my arm to a shark, and I think at the time when it initially happened, I thought I had lost much more than just my arm. I thought I had lost surfing, and I didn't know what my future was gonna hold, and just everything felt really unknown and kind of scary, and yeah, I just didn't know what was possible, but thankfully I had an amazing community of people there to support and encourage me, first of all in my faith in God, and reminded me that, hey, God has a future for your life and he has a plan for you and he's gonna help you get through this, and he certainly did. And also I got to talk to another fellow amputee, which was huge for me, and he had lost his leg to a shark, and then he continued surfing, or he actually learned how to surf with one leg. And that was my first like light bulb switch of like, whoa, maybe I can surf with one arm. So before I even got out of the hospital, which was less than a week, I was already planning to try surfing with one arm, and basically just waiting for the doctor to allow me back in the ocean after healing. And so my journey kind of began. Less than a month later, I got back on my board, and I remember my first time paddling out with one arm, and just it felt so awkward and weird. And my dad's there, like right there, he's like, I kind of fell on my first wave, and he's like, here, let me help you. And I was like little Miss Independent. I'm like, no, Dad, stay away. But he did help me verbally.
10-year-old girl, yeah.
Yeah, verbally he helped me. He was like, try put your hand in the center of the board, because normally with two arms you put both hands on the side when you pop up to ride waves. So instead, putting my one hand in the middle of the board. So my third try, I popped right up and rode the wave all the way to the beach and just had tears of joy and just so excited to be doing what I love to do. And long story short, today I'm a professional surfer, and yeah, it's what I love to do.
Incredible. And then you had Soul Surfer, which is a book that you had written pretty much a year right after, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's 2004. And then it was turned into a movie. So what was your involvement with not only the book, but just the turning into the movie and the process of that? Because that came out, I think the movie came out in 2011, right?
Yeah, so Soul Surfer, the book released in 2004, and I was involved. I was also a very distracted teenager, so the ghostwriter had to work with me a lot. I'd have to like go surf and then talk with him and then like go do something and then talk with him some more. And I know it was a long process for him, but thank goodness we got through it. And eventually Soul Surfer, the movie, started coming together. It was a long process, probably about 4 or 5 years. And my whole family and I were very involved. My brother and sister-in-law were co-producers, and we all had some say in the script writing, just trying to make it our own voice and make it more true to us as a family. And so I guess growing up in Hawaii, we really didn't know what we were doing, but at the same time, we did our best. And I love the director, Sean McNamara. He was very open to my feedback, so anytime I could like go and talk to him. So one day I was on set, and they're filming like a church scene. My family and I grew up in a church, or going to church, and they're filming this church scene, and it literally looked like everyone was at a funeral. So I like go on set. I'm like, hey everyone, if you could just do me a favor, like pretend you're not at a funeral, you're at church, and like I personally am really stoked when I'm at church. So at least pretend you are while you're doing your job of acting. And so I had a lot of fun just like bouncing here and to and from on set, and I even got to go into the editing room and have a say here and there on different scenes, like the shark attack. I remember they initially made it like a Jaws scene, and I was like, no, this is way too scary. Like, parents are not gonna allow their kids to watch this. And in actuality, it was really quick, and I didn't even see the shark, so let's keep it quick, short and not so sweet, but short and sweet.
And so, I mean, you've done everything. You've done, obviously, a book, a movie, surfing and stuff, but you've also were in The Amazing Race with your husband, Adam. And so can you talk about just that? You guys finished third, and just that incredible, I mean,
spoiled it for everyone.
Oh, no.
No, I'm just joking.
Wikipedia spoiled it for me. Watch your TV shows, come on. No, but so you did that with Adam, so can you talk about just, I mean, that must have been just an incredible experience.
Yeah, Amazing Race was kind of our second honeymoon in a sense. We got married the August before we did the race, and the race we raced in that next June. And it was a lot of fun. It was not easy, but we went into the first leg just planning not to get last and just make it through the first leg. And lo and behold, we slowly made it through each leg. And some of our favorite legs, the second leg we went to England, and we got to run around a racetrack in less than a minute and 15 seconds while flipping pancakes and keeping up your speed. And we nailed it in our first shot, and then went on and ended up winning the leg, which was awesome. So that kind of like built our confidence early on in the race. Though anything can happen at any moment, like a bad taxi driver, or you just really screw up on your directions without your iPhone. Because everyone here, I'm sure you revolve on your iPhone for your directions or whatever phone.
Android. Android.
Sorry, the Android. Yeah.
We'll edit that out.
Androids are very important.
It's like iPhone, Android. Yeah. We'll edit that out.
Yeah, so we rely on our brains and a map to get us around, and there was a lot of lost moments throughout the race, but we ended up racing on to the finals, which was awesome. And it came down to the last challenge. I had to do it no matter what, because Adam had done the challenge before, and we're basically like running around this maze of shipping containers and looking for different cities that we had been to, and each city came with a number, and you're trying to memorize it, and then you had to put it all in order. And I got to that challenge 15 minutes through, and I was like, okay, my goal is just to finish this. I want to finish this whole entire race on a positive note, not necessarily about winning at this point, because I'm not good with memory. So I did finish, and we finished third, and we were really stoked.
That's so cool. And so what was the most difficult challenge in all that, other than just relying on technology and the variables and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the most difficult, but one of my most memorable challenges where I got really dirty, I was in Morocco, and each leg, either Adam or I have to do a different task, and then sometimes we're together doing tasks. So we're in Morocco, and I decided to do skinning the goat hair off the goat skin. And we walk into this like big area about the size of this room, and there's just goat skins everywhere. And I had to like skin the hair off the goat skin, and it stank, and I'm wearing like special gloves and just getting really dirty, and I'm like trying to skin the goat hair off the skin, and then you had to take the goat skin, dried goat skin, and bike it around the tiny streets and navigate your way to wherever it needed to go. And it was just chaos, but yeah, it was really fun, and yeah, crazy memories that you wouldn't do on a normal day-to-day basis. So
Like flipping pancakes while
yeah, flipping pancakes while
clearly do that all
racing.
the time. Yeah. So what advice do you just have for younger people, but even just adults too?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many times in life we all go through different challenges and struggles, and I found in my life I've hugely relied on the things that I'm passionate about to kind of overcome and give me motivation and hope that there's a future beyond this momentary struggle and this pain that we're going through. And for me, it's been my faith in God and surfing. And these two things I'm so incredibly grateful for. First, knowing how much God loves me and the grace He has in my life. And just being able to be in the ocean and do what I love and work towards that has helped me overcome so much, and just leaves us to be thankful for what we do have rather than what we don't have. And yeah, and also just clinging to your community of people that are going to help you get through your hard times too.
So you have Friends of Bethany.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, Friends of Bethany is my nonprofit organization. I have an awesome team of people that help me with it. And actually, it just came from one of my favorite events that I get to be a part of all year. And it's a retreat for amputee girls. And we basically hang out for the weekend in Southern California, take the girls surfing, encourage them through their struggles. And all these girls have their own different stories and the different things different ways how they have overcome, and basically leave them with a life-changing weekend to remind them that like they can overcome different struggles in their lives. And it's really cool. We just kind of hang out at some point in the weekend and talk about how do you put your hair up with one arm, and just like simple things like that most of us wouldn't think about. So I love what I get to be a part of, and we're also doing a lot of youth events and teenage girl events and reaching out to amputees as a whole, and it's a lot of fun. So.
And how can people get involved?
Yeah, just check out friendsofbethany.com, and yeah, you'll get the inside scoop there.
And so what's been some of your just favorite moments over the years since, I mean, you have the book, you have the movie and stuff like that, but over just the past, 12, 15 years?
Well, I'd say getting married was up there. I have an amazing husband, and I'm so thankful for him and in my life. And then now having our little guy Tobias it's so amazing. And just loving being a mom and parents together. It's a very special thing that I feel really grateful for.
Well, family seems to be really important to you as well. So do you have any mentors or anyone who influenced you, even before the incident and then just now?
Yeah. I mean, my parents are very involved in my life, which I'm very grateful for, because I know as parents nowadays you can kind of get distracted with your work life and neglect your kids in a sense. Sorry to pull it out on parents, but my parents have been so amazing in my life and so supportive in many different ways. My dad cheering me on with surfing, and my mom encouraging me so much in my faith in God. And I also had just some really good friends, like solid group of core girlfriends that made really healthy decisions as teenagers and kind of kept us on a good track. So,
how do you set your goals? So is there anything that you haven't done that you're like, I want to do that?
Yeah, well, I'm working on a film project right now called Surfs Like a Girl, and I have a lot of lofty goals within that project, because kind of in the action sports world, you can kind of either be very focused on competition or filmmaking. So I'm kind of veering more towards filmmaking. So this is a film I'm working on and highlighting a lot of my surfing ability while encouraging girls in their sport. But a lot of people know I continued surfing with one arm, but not really. They don't understand the level of surfing that I have. And so gonna just be surfing some of the best waves in the world. And I have some goals just to perform really high. So when I'm home and on the road, I work, do different things throughout the day, like just keeping my body in shape and watching other surfers, and that I appreciate their way of approaching surfing. And also I got a trampoline to elevate my surfing and get repetition on the trampoline, which you can't get in the ocean necessarily. So I think when you're reaching towards different goals in your life, to take little steps towards the ultimate goal, because I think if you think about the ultimate goal all the time, you can get overwhelmed with how challenging it may be and how daunting of a task it is. So just one little steps at a time.
Where's your favorite place to surf?
My favorite place to surf, besides Hawaii, I'm a Hawaii girl at heart. I love Tahiti, which is very similar to Hawaii. Tahiti is like Hawaii back in the days, and it's so gorgeous, and the waves are amazing.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming today. We really appreciate that.
Awesome, glad to be here.